Greetings everybody, I hope that you guys are good. Let's quickly have a look at Nasdaq 100 and we're on the daily chart as you guys can see. And just to recap guys, remember the last time we spoke about this particular chart, we spoke about how we have at this point in time this very nice W structure over here, right, which has a neckline more or less at that level, right, and we saw price breaking to the upside of that neckline, coming back to that neckline to test it, and you guys by now know that at this point is where we would have looked for potential buying opportunities guys, right? So I'm just gonna add a neckline to that W structure, and just bear with me guys while I do so. Let's see. There we go. So we could say that this is the neckline of our W structure. I'm just going to make it a different color so it's better visible, so just bear with me guys. There we go. And just remember that necklines are areas and not so much actual lines, right? So just to zoom out and just to reiterate, this neckline is the neckline of this huge W structure, right? And then as I said, we saw price coming back to the neckline to test it, and at this point is where a lot of buyers were waiting, as the anticipation is for the market to push further up to close more or less at around this level, which is in line with this level, which is exactly where it started more or less, right? So the anticipation in as far as a lot of traders and investors are concerned at this point in time is for the market from where it is to move further up, right? Anyway, let's proceed guys. The next thing that I'm going to do guys is to utilize the Fibonacci retracement tool just to see if this neckline over here of this W structure aligns with any key numbers that we have on the tool. So just bear with me guys while I do so. Let's see, how would I add my Fibonacci? Let's have a look. I would add it in this manner more or less. There we go, more or less, right? And what can we see guys? What can we see? We can see that the neckline over here of this W structure, right, aligns more or less with, we could say, in fact it falls in between the 23.6% as well as the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement levels. Ideally I would have loved to see the market push further down actually to around the 38.2% Fib level. That's a stronger level. It's much stronger than where price actually retraced, right? Anyway, we can just remove this Fib tool. I don't think it's useful at this stage. Nonetheless, let's continue. So what else do we see guys in regards to this particular chart that we are looking at? Remember guys, as much as the anticipation at this point in time is for the market to push further up, can you also see that we had a very nice structure over here, which also had a neckline at that point, right? The anticipation was that price, after having closed below that neckline, would head back to the neckline to test it, and then at that point is where we would have looked for potential selling opportunities. However, we can see that the neckline at this point in time failed to hold price, and we'll see what happens next as we head down to the lower time frames, right? Another thing that I see that it's also very much important is the fact that we have this candlestick over here, which I had spoken about previously. It is a liquidity candlestick, and it is carrying a lot of liquidity at the top where it starts. And just remember that liquidity also represents money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another. Just bear with me, I just want to mark that candlestick. It's over here. Let's see, let's just make a different color as well. Just bear with me guys. There we go, more or less. There we go. Right. There we go. Right. So what else do we see guys? In fact, before we continue, I just want to add my daily channel as well. there goes our daily channel, more or less. Right, there we go, there we go, there we go. Another thing that I also want to point out is that, guys, remember, whenever it comes to these W structures, or rather M structures, what normally happens is that a lot of traders and investors sell on the second leg of the W structure, or rather the M structure, and they place their stop losses just above, right? So which means that at this point in time, we have a lot of stop losses that are sitting in and around this area, and those stop losses are actually liquidity, and liquidity represents, as I said, money that needs to be triggered by the market, right? So what's likely to happen is that we might see the market push further up, and not only to grab the liquidity that relates to this candlestick that I spoke about, but also to grab all of those stop losses that I spoke about. And just also remember that because price came back to the neckline over here of this W structure, the anticipation is that the market will push further up to around this area over here to complete this very nice W structure, right? Anyway, what else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart? At this point, really, I don't see much. I'm just gonna head down to the H4 chart, and here we are on the H4 chart. I'm just gonna fix my channel, more or less. There goes my channel. Just bear with me, guys. Right, there we go, 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 there we go. So what else do we see, guys, now that we are on the H4 chart? Guys, as much as the anticipation at this point in time is for the market to continue to push further up, just bear in mind that we have an opposing trend line, or rather equidistant channel on the H4 chart, which goes like this, more or less. Right, can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? Right, this is very important, and the reason why this particular channel is very important is because if you pay close attention, you'll see that we had multiple rejections on that trend line, and you guys know by now that usually whenever we have a third rejection on the trend line, we normally sell, right? So a lot of traders and investors at this point have been selling, right, and also placing their stop losses just above, right? So this also tells us that as much as we have this point over here where people are selling in large numbers and putting their stop losses at the top, what this means is that there's a whole lot of money sitting in around this area, and that we might potentially see a stop hunt of sorts happen where the market pushes further up to grab all of those stop losses, in addition to that candlestick that's carrying liquidity that I spoke about, right? However, having said all that, guys, and as far as the H4 chart goes, at this point in time, I don't see any buying or selling opportunities. Myself personally, I generally don't buy or sell on the rejections, like in this particular case, because this could also be a trap. As I said, guys, this could be a trap, because those who control the market know that we retail traders usually sell on the third touch of trend line, right? So as I said, that could be a trap, so we just need to be careful, right? Having said all that, guys, I don't see any particular buying or selling opportunities at this point, but I just also want to point out that we have this candlestick as well. It too is a liquidity candlestick, and it's carrying a lot of liquidity at that point. Let me just mark it. Just bear with me, guys. So in conclusion, guys, I would say that the markets at this point in time are very much choppy due to the various news events that we've had, including CPI that we had yesterday, in addition to the season's earnings results that we have been witnessing over the last couple of weeks, right? Nonetheless, guys, my bias is to continue to buy at this point in time. However, I know that a lot of people at this point are selling, and what I would do actually is I might wait for the market to push further down, and then In fact, I'm hoping that the market comes back to around this level, which is the neckline of that huge W structure that I spoke about. And if it does so at this level is where I will indeed be looking for potential buying opportunities. I'm not just gonna buy, I'm gonna look for potential buying opportunities, and that means that I need confluence and I need further reasons for why I should be buying, right? Anyway, that is it, guys. And as far as my analysis goes, I just hope it's not too confusing. But in as far as buying or selling at this point, I don't see any opportunities because the market is very much choppy and it could go in either way at this point in time, right? Just remember to like the content if you do indeed like it, and also remember to subscribe to the channel. And peace out, guys.